Namaste, viewers. I'm Vibhuti Jha. This is Jaipur Dialogue USA, and we are going to talk about today Prime Minister Modi's visit to Long Island. Uh, and it was quite a remarkable visit. So, before I start, please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback. We value your thoughts. Now, I wanted to say this to you because this particular prime visit to Long Island in Nassau Coliseum by Prime Minister was actually, in my opinion, a bonus visit of the Prime Minister and a conversation with the Indian Americans in America. Now, let me put it this way to you. I was in Madison Square Garden in 2014 when he made his first trip, which was so much full of enthusiasm. It was packed, Madison Square Garden, with more than 40,000 people. That was pretty awesome. And that particular visit was all about hope, aspiration, desire, intent that India would become something, a corruption-free country. Yesterday's visit to Long Island, to a smaller venue of Nassau Coliseum, had about approximately 15,000 people came for that. But they came from all over the country. I knew people who were there who came from San Diego, California, Bay Area, Seattle, Michigan, Chicago, upstate New York, Florida. So people were there from everywhere, and they were so enthusiastic. This is truly remarkable that this man, Mr. Narendra Modi, the Pradhan Sevak, the Pradhan Mantri of Bharat, attracts so much enthusiasm and awakening by the NRIs that they are all willing to come and see him, hear him in person. Although, thanks to technology, we hear the speeches of the Prime Minister anywhere, or anybody you want to hear, you can see it on social media. But there is a special thrill about meeting this man in a live conversation which he addresses the people. It is so amazing that how he connects with all the people who are there. And he knows how to reach out to the people, whether you are from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, Telangana, Punjab, Bengal, Gujarat, Maharashtra. He called out people from every part of the country. Whether you are a Bohri or a Sikh, everybody was there celebrating the presence of the Prime Minister in Long Island yesterday. Now, why I said this is a bonus visit, for the simple reason that, in my opinion, I had opined here with you, talking to you 2 weeks ago, that Prime Minister Modi need not visit America. And I still believe that, looking at the official engagements and everything else, yeah, this visit need not have happened, but it happened for reasons of political leadership, for reasons of political courtesy that you extend to a member of the same group. So President Biden would have had to travel to India, because this was India's term to host the Quad meeting of the heads of state in India. But because of Biden's failing health, and he's almost at the end of his term, Mr. Biden requested that the Quad meeting be held in United States, and he hosted the whole thing in his hometown, in his own home of 50 years ago that he acquired in Delaware. So there was a personal touch to it, and I think all the people, all the leaders, Quad leaders, accepted that request, and they consented to that entire gesture and came here. And incidentally, the Japanese Prime Minister is also retiring. So it was interesting that how the Quad leadership transferred to India. Because when a reporter asked Mr. Biden that will Quad die after November election? And he said it's very much alive, and he patted Mr. Modi and hinted that he will take on the lead. And India did show the leadership of Quad in a very remarkable way with reference to vaccination research, training of people in India, in engineering programs and all. Those were very important decisions taken, and that is what is important. That Prime Minister Modi will lead Quad regardless of who becomes the president of the United States. Interestingly enough, because now it will be held in India next year, so whoever is the president of the United States, whether it's Trump or Kamala Harris, they will have to go there. So a presidential trip also can be worked around towards India's visit. Think about it from that perspective. But otherwise, this visit was a bonus visit for Indian Americans in America. And what thrilled me when I heard his speech live, I have heard him several times, but this was again how Prime Minister Modi inspired the concept of Purusharth. He used the word Purusharth. He talked about the fact that how much of progress India has made with reference to providing electricity, gas connections, toilet facilities for women, and the connectivity around the country to the common man, common people, crediting the bank accounts. So there were enormous progress shown by the prime ministers in 10-year rule. And there was a message of hope and aspiration, right? The one I love the word, the pragati, and importance of India and Indian culture and tradition, that was reverberating in the house, in the hall. That was very important. And something he said in Hindi, his whole speech is generally in Hindi. And he said, and I'm reading that, he said, भाषा अनेक हैं, भावना एक है, भारतीयता, अपना दबाव बढ़ाना है, अपना प्रभाव बढ़ाना है. This is the message to Indians in America. And as Indian Americans recognize that we are amongst the most prosperous, professionally successful group of people in America, we are also not a law and order problem. So in addition to being Bharat ka Dutavas or ambassadors of India, we need to become ambassadors, true ambassadors to our own selves. That's important. Very few Americans know us the way they ought to know us. And that's the effort which people like us are doing here with your support. And we want to enroll you in this particular effort, that you and I, we have to reach out to the mainstream America, that we may be 1% of the population, we pay 6% of the taxes, and we contribute very decently to the social life of America without being a law and order problem anywhere. That's the message. And that's the message which Prime Minister was asking of us yesterday. That you have an important role to play in America. Rise up to it. Prabhutu, you have to take your message to America that how important you are to the system and process, and they cannot take you for granted. Assert. I always ask you, arise, awaken, and assert and act. Remember one thing, no amount of knowledge and wisdom serves the purpose if you do not act about it. So the world must know us. And there is an element of messaging. Let's learn from Prime Minister Modi. The man speaks in Hindi, very good Hindi, but his messaging is top class. Each one of us understood the message. Not a single NRI had a problem listening and getting that message. And that's what is important for all of us to know, that, all said and done, we have to rise and we have to do that. The one element which is very critical from my point of view, is that the economic might, the AI might, as the saying goes, that natural intelligence must dominate artificial intelligence. And that's where we are critical in the American way of life. It's not enough to be good, it has to be known that you are good too. Because if you are not known, then it doesn't matter. Remember, I was referring to your knowledge and wisdom. If your knowledge and wisdom doesn't produce action, that knowledge and wisdom is useless. So, what's the point in we being good if nobody knows that we are good people? So, its messaging is important. Getting engaged in the communities that we live in is important. So, Prime Minister's visit was a real bonus. I personally was very delighted because I like the man. I'm very proud of being his supporter, and I'm totally unabashed about it. When somebody told me, "Oh, you have become a bhakt," I thought for a moment and I said, "What's wrong in being a bhakt? Isn't it better than becoming the slave of Congress Party?" That mental enslavement of Congress Party, despite what they have done to us as a country, as a people, as Hindus, as Indians. Think about it for a moment. I want you to go back few days ago when Rahul Gandhi was in town. What did he do? What did he do? Let's ask that question. He only talked about dividing the country. He talked about Sikhs not getting the chance to wear their turban and the kadas. And he's still talking about that in India. But what did we see in Nassau Coliseum? How many Sikhs were there? They are very well wearing their pagdi and wearing their kada. Yeah, there were some people who were Khalistanis were Khalistanis were protesting outside, but they were Khalistanis, no Sikhs. And let's make a distinction about that. That it was the Khalistanis who were protesting, and he is talking to Khalistanis. He is talking about the problems of Khalistanis. He is not talking about the problems of Sikhs. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. Prime Minister Modi's message is that we have to awaken and act. Every leader needs a group of followers on whose competence, and support he can never have any doubt. Not only doubt, he can always bank upon it. And that's what was important about this visit. Thank you very much for watching. As I always say, Satyamev Jayate. For truth to triumph, you and I have to stand for it. Thank you very much for watching today.